Hey guys, it's Katie from Bobby Hair Studio. Thanks for coming back. Today we're going to take our highlight client to a straight bleach out. This is something I do pretty commonly and it's considered a color correction, but I wanted you to see how I do this so that it makes a little bit more sense for any of you out there who are beginners to hair and want to learn how to take someone from highlights to a bleach out. I'm going to start with Blonde Me in 20 volume, and then I'm going to use my Starstruck Silver foils from Framar. I prefer a pre-cut foil for a service like this with the amount of hair that I have here. If someone had an obscene amount of hair, I would use maybe a foil roll and a thinner foil, but I do prefer to use a more embossed pre-cut foil just for my speed when I have a client with an average to normal amount of hair. This technique is actually pretty simple when you actually see it laid out. However, the actual execution of it can be a little bit more difficult. What you want to do is you want to bleach over anything that can handle the bleaching and you want to avoid anything that can't. So essentially my bottom foils, because they're mostly root, I covered them all the way down. And going up through the top here, you can see that I'm leaving out some hair. That's hair that I know that can't handle the 20 volume and bleach right now. However, I will be going over it later with a 7 volume, which is much more gentle, and it can handle a little bit more bleaching that way. I'm leaving about a ½ inch of her root available for me to bleach later because when I do put bleach on that area, it will process super quickly, so it will bypass the foil processing time. So I'm gonna put that in just a couple minutes, but here is all her foils, and here is what a perfect lift looks like. As you can see, her ends are darker than what's in the foil here, but that's why I'm gonna go over them with a much softer bleach at the end rather than putting them in full strength with 20 volume. You may need some assistance with something like this. That's why I get my other stylist, Curn Deep, to help me out here. I'm putting on the root, and what I'm doing is I'm also kind of scraping away all that old bleach through the end so it doesn't keep processing. But any areas that do need to keep processing, I put either that kind of old bleach back on it if it just needs a little teeny boost, or I reapply new 7 volume and Blonde Me onto the ends if they're dark enough that they need that. It just kind of comes down to what your experience is, what your client's hair is like, and what kind of bleach you're using when you're reapplying bleach to the ends like this. As you can see, I'm making sure the ends here stay moisturized and saturated while I'm putting on my roots, because the roots will process in probably 20 to 30 minutes because she's naturally a level 6 to 7. And as you can see, I let my foils process almost all the way before I actually start pulling them out and putting on my root color. And this is because foils take so much longer to process than the scalp area, because the scalp has heat, which will make the bleach process faster. I also started with the section that I started putting in the foils with first, so that the other areas have time to catch up while I'm putting on the roots. Some areas I will be leaving the foil in, I'll just be scooting it down so I have room to put on the root. That's a totally good way of putting in your foils and your root at the same time if your foils still need an extra 5 to 10 minutes of that insulation. After I'm finished applying her root, I'm going to incubate her head using a plastic processing cap and using her back bib to wrap over top, not around her face because I don't want the fumes to get in the way, but around her head to keep her bleach moisturized and to keep it going. Here it is after we did our first toner. However, she did feel like it was a little bit too bright for her. She preferred to go a little bit more beigey rose goldy. So we did another formula, which is right here, and this is how that formula turned out. She was really happy, and even though we did have a little bit of breakage at the ends, we gave her a healthy cut, and she's happy to go on living life as a full solid platinum blonde now. And the fun part about being a platinum is you can change up your toner whenever you want. So even though today she did rose gold, next time she might want to do something more silvery or platinum-y. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Remember to like and subscribe.